All right, welcome to the Single Mama Minimal Drama podcast. I am your host, Kendra, and a few of you might be familiar with who I am, but I'm going to reintroduce myself. So, I am Kendra. I am a single mom of two boys. Prior to this, I had a podcast called the Hidden Gems Podcast where I interviewed small business owners and had them share their stories about their journeys to becoming successful in their small business, their ups and downs, their highs and lows. And now I am doing a podcast all about parenthood, mainly focusing on parenthood, but it is also about being a single mom. So this season, we're going to be focusing on all things that encompass that. But just to give you a little brief for some of you who might be wondering what happened, where I've been, I definitely have been going through a season of retrograde. And I say retrograde in a sense of a time to reevaluate, revamp, and revisit some of the things that I needed to change in my life. So I went through a divorce, I moved, and through all those things, I have just really been able to sit down and be with myself and my brain and think about all of the things that I need to do in order to get back to the podcast, get back to my normal life, and kind of really develop a sense of normalcy for me and my children. So sometimes in life, we have to put a pause on things just in order to move forward, and there's nothing wrong with that. I really enjoyed the time off. It was interesting and it was different, but it gave me time to really kind of reevaluate me, reevaluate myself, and learn more about me and learn to love the journey because the journey can be tough a lot of the times, especially when you feel like you're going through a season of retrograde. I honestly feel like the last 3 years of my life have been just a whole 3 years of nothing but a retrograde for me. Because even before the divorce, things were not going well. But there were things that were going well. So I've been able to reevaluate, redo the things, and just think about where I want my life to go. So, what I've learned is that life goes on, even when you're going through your own things, and you should too. So, because life is going to still go on, you should just go on too. But that doesn't mean that you skip steps or skip things that you need to go through. Like, by all means, if you're going through a grieving process and, things are ending, coming to an end, and grieving doesn't always just mean like you're going through it because somebody passed, but just because something in your life might be coming to an end, something came to a close, and now you're having to grieve it and you're having to go through those steps. Go through the steps. That is my biggest piece of advice, is to just go through the steps. I know it's like, and grieving is not something that's linear. So it's not like you can just go through it, straight through it, and be done with it. It comes in waves. It goes up and down. It goes around. You might think you're done grieving something and it comes back up. And it just happens. It's something that we all go through. It's something that happens quite frequently. So just go through the process in order to move forward with a real purpose. But really take the time when you're going through these grieving processes and think about what you can do differently, what you can do to move forward, what's going to be healthy for you, and what's going to be beneficial for you and your family and your children and whoever's in your life that's moving forward with you. So, on this podcast, like I said, we're mainly going to be talking about parenthood, but we're going to be talking a lot about motherhood because, from my perspective of parenthood, I am a mother of two boys, and they are busy. They are 5 years old and 6 years old at the time of this recording. So they're busy boys. They keep me busy. We do a lot, but I'm also a working mom. So I work a full-time job, a job where I travel a lot during one part of the year. So I'll be talking a lot about that. I'll be having multiple guests on the show, some guests that you might be familiar with from the Hidden Gems podcast, and then some new guests that you've never seen before. And then I'll also have some guests that'll be just recurring guests throughout the season just to keep talking about things in parenthood. But the one thing that all of these guests will have in common is that they either are parents or at some point in time they've maybe dealt with a parent, if that makes any sense. So, like, if I do an episode about dating, I would have a guest who maybe has dated a single parent before, and they would give their perspective as a person who maybe doesn't have children, um, as dating a person who does have children. So, we will have a lot of things that we will be talking about this season. Um, I think that it was important for me to kind of bring this podcast to light because I recognize that a lot of people go through being a single parent. There are a lot of single parents out here, but not a lot of people share a whole lot about their journey. There is something in sharing your journey with other people to help them feel kind of inspired and help them feel like they can make it through because they're going through something similar. And since I already kind of had a platform, why not continue to share the journey? I love sharing journeys, obviously. When I did Hidden Gems, I was sharing the journey about me being a small business owner. And listening to other small business owners really helped me to figure out what I was going to do or what I needed to do in my business or how I wanted to make it work for me. And I think that as a parent, you need a village and you need to hear voices. You need to hear things from other people who are also going through it as you. So whether you're a single parent, whether you're a parent who has a partner, um, or if you just want to hear some funny stuff, I highly suggest you tune in to the Single Mama Minimal Drama podcast over this season because there will be all of the things happening. We will talk about a million things. I love to talk. I love to voice my opinion on certain things. And like, I don't mind sharing what I'm going through. And the people who are coming on don't mind sharing what they've been through. And it's always good to hear that from somebody else. So, like I said, I'll definitely be talking about my kids this season. Another thing, if you've been here for a while, you know I like to talk about astrology. So, for my returning listeners, I will still be incorporating astrology into this podcast as well. It'll be different, but it'll be fun. So, we'll still have astrology time with Kendra. So, don't worry if you were wondering, it'll still be happening. Um, as you all know, I am on socials. Well, I took a break from that too, and then I got back on. So I'm only on Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest. And because I kind of wanted to just lead it, both of them or all of them, with my name instead of the name of the podcast, because I did think about doing it. And I did do it at the beginning and then I changed it. So it is my actual Instagram page. But please feel free to follow me. It's not a private page, so it's open to be followed, but it's a funny name. So my Instagram page is It's Kendra with 4 A's and 2 underscores at the end because Kendra is such a popular name that I couldn't just be Kendra on Instagram. And then on TikTok, it's 2 underscores at the beginning and then Kendra with 5 A's at the end. And then on Pinterest, and it's important for you to follow me on Pinterest, and you'll find out this season why. I told you I was talking about astrology, so I keep talking about Venus signs a lot this season and how we should be dressing. So if you follow me on Pinterest, you'll see the Pinterest boards that I made that I'm going to reference in some of the later episodes that you'll hear about how you should dress for your Venus sign. But if you want to follow me on Pinterest, I have all kinds of stuff on my Pinterest. My Pinterest is kind of out of control. But my Pinterest is just It's Kendra with 2 underscores at the end. Regular spelling on Pinterest. But I hope that this podcast is inspiring and motivating for the ones who are listening and tuning in every week. If anything, I'm hoping that you will get some laughs out of it and hopefully some good information, something that you can take back and utilize in your regular life. Or even if this even just makes you feel supported to hear that other parents are going through the same stuff that you're going through, and that you're not alone in this. I hope that you can take that away from all of this, get a couple of laughs, and get through the actual hood of parenting. That is probably the hardest part of it all, is just getting through parenting, because there are so many different phases that you go through as a parent, and your kids go through so many different phases as they grow into adults. But just know that I'm here with you. I'm going through parenting as well, and learn to enjoy the process. And I hope you guys tune in, enjoy the podcast this season and beyond. And that is all I have to say.